guys, so welcome back to my channel. It is Shawntas Way here, and today we are going to be definitely diving in on a topic that is going to really be useful in a winter time, especially when your hair is going to feel more dry than normal. Honestly, if you have low porosity hair and it feels dry no matter what, then you 100% need to watch this video, because I'm going to be dropping some tips in here that is going to be super helpful for you. And I'm also going to be talking about how to actually penetrate low porosity hair. Now, I do want to start with a disclaimer and start by saying, truthfully, there are a lot of tips and tricks for low porosity hair. There's so many tips on how to keep it moisturized. I could seriously make an entire video just full of tips because I do have a lot of them. But it could truly be overwhelming for someone who is just trying to get straight to the point tips on how to keep their hair moisturized if they have low porosity hair, especially in the winter time. So I wanted to narrow this down to only 3 methods that I absolutely know work and that you can baseline start with no matter where you are in your journey. Okay, so if you have low porosity hair, then you know how hard it is to keep your hair moisturized. When you moisturize your hair, it is good, it is thriving. But when you do not properly moisturize your hair, it can really take a toll on low porosity hair and on hair in general. First, I want to talk about what low porosity hair is, because I know that a lot of people don't really understand. So low porosity hair has a tightly sealed cuticle. That's why product typically sits on top of it instead of soaking in. So to get moisture into low porosity hair, there's 2 things that's going to be needed, and that is typically heat or steam, or you're going to have to use water to loosen up your cuticle a little bit and allow some moisture into there. And normally you want to use like warmer water to be that foundation before you start to apply your products, especially if you're working on like dry hair. When I say water, it does go along with like water-based formulas that start with the first ingredient of water, aloe, things like that. Okay, so method number 1 is going to be the warm water penetration method. This method is pretty simple and straight to the point. You're gonna basically start by misting your hair with warm water. Remember what I said, with the warmth, it softens the cuticle so moisture can actually slide in, whereas cold water can't really do that for low porosity hair. So if you are waking up in the morning and you're spraying your hair with colder water, that is going to not be as easy if you spray your hair with like warm water. Spray it on your hair before you start to re-moisturize your hair, so that when you do put product on your hair and when you do start to re-moisturize your hair actually takes what you're doing, those steps, that process and technique. Then you're gonna go in with your light moisturizer. As I mentioned in the beginning, you're gonna look for ingredients that's like aloe, glycerin. Those are going to pull moisture into your hair. Some good budget options when it comes to like products that I recommend is going to be the Derma E thickening conditioner. That is so good for low porosity hair. I personally love it. I've tried it on my hair and I absolutely love this conditioner, so I 100% recommend that. I also recommend the Camille Rose Naturals conditioner, and honestly pretty much anything Camille Rose Natural works really good with low porosity hair, I have found. Some high-end options are going to be, what has worked for me is the Amika conditioner, and I also like Way. The Way brand is so good, so if you have a chance to get any of those high-end options, those are really good for when you're trying to moisturize your hair. So this method is great for quick moisture days, like I said, in the morning when you're needing to spray your hair, re-moisturize, and be out the door. Okay, so the second method is going to be the steam hydration method, and this is going to include a steamer. Now, I'm going to say this because this is very, very important, so please listen up. If you have one of those cheaper steamer products where it's just like the bonnet, it's not really made for natural hair, your hair is like sticking out of it, you're more so sweating than actually steaming your hair, then girl, please get rid of that. Like, I beg of you to get rid of that, because that is not doing anything for your hair. I would say to opt for an actual steamer, or you can get the little cute ones on Amazon. I actually had to get one for myself, but it's like you have the steamer and it kind of like you plug it in. I heard that one's a really good one. Also, a really budget friendly option is to use a good old plastic bag. I have been doing that for a long time. It works for me. You put a plastic bag on, you spray your hair with a little bit of water, put your plastic bag on, and it really does cover your whole head and yeah, you could just get a little nice steam going on. As for steam, it gently warms and hydrates your hair, adds a bit of humidity, which in my opinion, low porosity hair typically loves, as long as it's not an overbearing amount. For this method, you're gonna apply your conditioner and then put a steam onto your hair. Now, you don't always have to do it that way. So many people do their steaming process of very many different ways, and I also do it very many different ways depending on what process. So just find out what works for you, but adding a steamer to your routine is going to definitely help with moisture. It's going to help the conditioner to actually penetrate in your hair and not just sit on top. Remember, with low porosity hair, that is the problem. Products do sit on top of our hair when we don't properly do the process right. So make sure that you are keeping that in mind. And some budget friendly options for conditioner for the steaming process, if you're going to be washing it out, is going to be the Aussie conditioner. I don't use that one a lot anymore. I used to use that a little bit back in the day, but I'm a ingredient freak, so sometimes I skip that one. But that is a budget friendly one that I actually do find moisturizes your hair. And then the Derma E conditioner, any of their conditioners except for one. So I'm gonna actually put my recommended Derma E conditioners to use down in the description box. And then high-end deep conditioners are going to be the Amika deep conditioner. I have been absolutely loving that one. And then the Nourish by Shawntas Pink Honeysuckle conditioner is my other go-to conditioner. I do not stray away from that, but lately I have been, because as you guys know, that has been out of stock. So Amika and Nourish by Shawntas are good high-end deep conditioners that you can put into your routine. Boom, those are the first two methods, and both of those methods work simply because the heat plus water opens the cuticle just enough to let small molecules in. Low porosity hair needs softer, gradual hydration, not super heavy products that are just gonna just sit there. So if your hair feels like nothing is absorbing, this is probably why. Let's talk a little bit about how to lock that hydration in once you finally get it into your hair, because that is also a very important step that I find if you skip, you're back to square one. Once you're done with your routines and you have your products on and you've done these steps, you now want to lock that in with an oil. Using an oil to seal your hair works extremely good. I have been doing it for years, and if you've been following my channel, you probably know this. And it's one of those steps that I have never taken out of my routine. I've switched around my routine so much, and that is the one step that I will not switch around. But the key is, for low porosity hair, you want to use oils that are going to easily absorb into your hair. So this is going to be like jojoba oil, grapeseed oil, argan oil. Those are the type of oils that are not going to just sit on top of your hair. So like butters, I find for me, sit on top of my hair. They don't really do anything. And I also found that for my daughter as well, who has type 4 hair. And yeah, I just find that if you use lighter oils, it absorbs better, or lighter oil mixes, it absorbs better. I feel like that with low porosity hair, you have to use the right oil mix. If you're not using the right oils on your hair, then you are definitely going to be one of those people who hates oils. Every single time I hear someone say like they don't like oils or something like that, I always wonder if they have low porosity hair and they're just using the wrong oils, or they're using the wrong process. Oils have literally been used for centuries, but you have to use them correctly for your porosity, and you have to understand that oils are just one step in the process. The other steps matter just as much as the oiling process, so you cannot just rely on that for your entire routine. So I wanted to quickly give you guys a quick technique that is definitely gonna work. I have used it for years, and that is gonna be the LCO method. That is a leave-in, a cream, and then an oil. And that is the layering process that you can use all throughout your routine. When you are putting on your leave-in, your cream, and then putting on your gel, and then you're gonna put on the oil to seal everything in. That is going to be something that is gonna work every single time. I promise you, it will work every single time to keep your hair moisturized. When you're doing twists during the winter time, if you're doing like twists or braids, you're gonna still use that process that I just said, the leave-in, the cream, the oil, and then you'll put on a gel if that's an optional step. And then the last step is to put on a oil. So it's a leave-in, cream, gel before the oil, and then you're gonna put on your oil. If you're just gonna do a leave-in, cream, and then oil, you're just gonna do a leave-in, cream, oil. And trust me, this works beautifully for low porosity hair. So those are the 3 methods plus that little bonus tip that I got you that is definitely going to get you through the winter when it comes to keeping your hair moisturized. Like I said, around this time, that is so important for me because I feel like that my hair gets so dry in the winter time. Also, kind of ignore my hair for today. I brushed out all my curls and try to do like a different hairstyle, and I don't know if I really like it. Like, okay, yeah. But thank you guys so much for clicking on another video. Hopefully this video helped you for your winter hair care, and I will definitely be back with more videos to help you guys during the winter time when it comes to your hair, making sure that your hair still stays nice and, you know, flourishing, so that in summertime you've already reached so many goals because you've been taking care of your hair all winter. So we're gonna be taking care of our hair all winter so that we can come out on the summertime on the other side. Thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure that you follow me on Instagram if you have not followed me there. I would love to have you there. And make sure that you stick around. If you are new here, subscribe. I do put out videos every Sunday. And yeah, we just post a lot of good content on this channel. So make sure that you subscribe and give this video a thumbs up, like, and share. I'll see you guys in the next one.